So Carolina getting their first win was an upset. You know what else was an upset? The Denver Broncos defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and holding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to one touchdown. Now I've been watching the Buccaneers very closely. They're my second team right now. A lot of people have Detroit. I would say the Buccaneers are mine. I'm an Eagles fan first and foremost, but I love to see Baker Mayfield succeed and that Tampa team. So it's just really exciting to me. You know, they've got guys like Mike Evans, obviously, who's an all-time great wide receiver. You've got Chris Godwin, maybe the best number 2 wide receiver threat in the league. You have Rachaad White, who I'm really high on. He's not the best rusher, but he's a really good receiving back. So, and the defense, I think, is pretty good too. And you've got a defensive-minded head coach, so that adds to that. So Tampa is a team I really like to watch and like to see succeed. But this loss to the Denver Broncos is inexcusable. Throughout the first 2 weeks, the Broncos were really embarrassing, and Bo Nix was kind of at the forefront of that. He was kind of a disappointing quarterback to start off the year, and that's the 12th pick. Yeah, he was, I believe, the 6th quarterback taken, but he wasn't playing very well at all, and this was a guy who I thought was going to be pro-ready just by the fact that he played in college for so long that he's had time to just gain more and more experience and learn the game, but he really hadn't been that for the first couple of weeks. But he looked really solid in this game, so I think that's great for Denver. But for Tampa, it's the opposite because Bo Nix hadn't looked good the first 2 weeks, and now he looks really good against your defense. And you've got a defense-first head coach. Your defense ought to be good, and you're going to let Bo Nix have the best game of his young career against you, and the Broncos put up 26. And they didn't get much help from their offense either. Tampa was turning the ball over. They just didn't create much offense. So I think it's a loss just on both ends of the ball and a really demoralizing loss for Tampa Bay because they went into Ford Field and defeated the Detroit Lions last week. But this week they were unable to capitalize on that momentum. And I don't know where they go from here. I think they will bounce back and recover. But a loss like this does not look good, And when it comes to playoff time and we're kind of deciding what teams are contenders and what teams are pretenders, a loss like this is not going to look good come playoff time. So for Tampa, I just think this raises a lot of questions about your ability to win games, losing to a bottom tier team like this. And I think they've got some question marks that they need to answer moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, it would be great if you could find it in you to like, subscribe, maybe check out the full podcast on Spotify. Follow us on there. Follow us on Instagram. I know realistically this podcast isn't going to go anywhere ultimately, whether it's via the segments on YouTube or the entire podcast itself. But I want to get into the sports broadcasting business. I want to be able to promote thought-provoking discussions about the NBA, and I would love to do it via State of the Association. Thank you if you made it all the way through.